Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special episode because we just like to talk so much. We are going to be doing ESL Impact Season 4 primers. We usually would do these during our regular episodes leading up to the time. The weeks haven't worked out that way, though. Our regular episode will be next week, and of course, yesterday was the Bokur interview. Today, we got time for not for some interviews. We got time to talk about some teams here, and I
Yeah,
think we're going to start with Europe.
yeah. Let's talk about Europe. Let's talk about ESL Impact Season 4. Let's talk about the prep. Let's prime you for the season, right? So, we'll start with Group A. Obviously, a lot of announcements coming through. Aces have been signed by Athena. Biggie Keepa have to basically yet to announce their fifth after the
Yeah.
departure of Josie. Nine Pandas, by the way, have announced Tony Black as their new coach, which I think is an interesting move.
Right.
And NIP have signed AIM in replacement of Paulie. Guild as well have signed Independent as a coach. They parted ways with Mini, so they have to announce a fifth as well. So a few pieces missing from EU, but overall, should be an interesting one. Group A, Athena, Biggie Keepa, Enigma Galaxy, NIP, Yayo, and VP Angels. Let's start there before we go into Group B and how we feel about this lineup. Now, Parks, I
Yeah.
think obviously Enigma run away with it, and I think they qualify for the league as the top team. I don't think there's much of a debate.
Really.
People are going to look at Impact or NIP Impact and say, well, they beat him twice. They beat him at Gamers Without Borders. They beat him in the league. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I get that, but you know, to do that three times of asking, I don't think it's going to happen, right? So, NIP are still a really good team, and they've definitely practiced hard, like really practiced hard after announcing AIM. I think that's why they announced AIM early,
Yeah.
is because they just want to really drill it in, and I think they're going to play well. I don't think they're going to play well to top Nigma in the group though, and I don't think anybody else really is. So for me, I'm going to stick Nigma as my top team. Who's your top team?
It's honestly it's a big toss up between those two. Not in NIP Enigma. I mean, we look back at season 3, and the three-headed monster that was the Spider-Man pointing meme was Big, was NIP, was Nigma. Now, Big not having a fifth announced kind of scares me a little bit. The fact that they might have not be playing with anybody, and with rulings and all that kind of coming through, I hope they have somebody already ready to go. It's a little bit of a worrisome prospect that they might not. Yeah, it's. I don't think Big are going to be as strong as they were last time around, just because they are missing Yosi into this season. And I mean, um, yeah, it's. I would still put Nigma as my top dog. I think it's a lot. I think NIP are going to give them trouble, especially if this is an NIP that has been practicing as much as they have been, who, as you said, they put the announcement out early so they could get free practice range. There's no need to worry about secrecy or anything on playing with AIM, which, some teams it doesn't even matter if they don't have the fifth announced. They're still playing with that fifth and they just don't care. They're not going to
Oh
mess it
yeah,
up.
100%.
So
Yeah.
I would put Nigma on top. I would not be surprised if Nip were right behind them to just maybe grab that second spot or challenge for that first spot. It all depends on this. Honestly, it depends on the week 1 match, because we do have those out. Those were announced earlier today. And the first one is Nigma versus NIP. And I think that's pretty much a tone setter for the rest of Group A's weeks to follow.
I agree. I think that's right. I think that's kind of like the big matchup, right? Like everyone's
Yeah.
watching that matchup because it could have so much weight in the final of the groups. Remember, only the group winners in Europe get through, and then second place in each group have to play each other for the final spot on land. So it's the same exact format as last season. So yeah, it could be a really big, have really big implications just right here the opening week. I'm going to put NIP number 2 because of that. I'm right there with you. I think they're going to give Nigma problems. They could even take a map in that series. Don't think they get by Nigma again in the series, but I think they will be good enough to overcome the demons. NIP have kind of been this team that have gotten really close to qualification and then fallen at the last hurdle. And that's still a possibility here, but the hurdle is going to be in the playoff. I give them the playoff spot. I don't necessarily think anybody is going to compete against them, which, by the way, I think maybe for the next group we start from the bottom up. But I think it's good for the suspense, right? But I think NIP are going to be second. I don't think there's a doubt about that. So I'm thinking you're in agreement with me as well. Are you? That's a big question.
Sorry.
Are you? NIP number 2 in Group
Yeah,
A?
that's what I said. You're slow on the take here, my man.
I'm old, so let's
It
move
makes
on to
sense.
third spot though, just missing. I think it's actually going to be VP Angels. This is a really odd side to pin. It's very tough to pin where
Yeah.
VP Angels are going to be because, as we've seen in Fast Cups, in Cash Cups, and in the qualifiers, they're a team that can show up and get immediately knocked out in the first round, or they're a team that can show up and really pull the rug out from underneath
Yeah.
everybody. But I think they're improving. I think there's a lot that this side could look forward to in terms of improving. And the other teams in the division are Yayo and Sathina and Big Ikipa. And it's one of these things where it's like, depending on who Big Ikipa can announce, VP could probably take them. I certainly would favor VP Angels against Ents. And I think Yayo is a team that VP Angels are pretty evenly matched with. But I'm going to give third place actually to VP Angels. I think there's a chance, based on what we saw last season and building into this season, there's a chance they could have massively improved and taken third spot.
Yeah, the consistency is a big issue for me, at least when I look at this team and I go, what really concerns me is the fact that, they were such a they came in to Group B in season 3 and they looked all right. They were an invited squad coming in, and they went 0-5. They just did not get anything near what the expectation was. I mean, Copenhagen Flames, Guild, G2 Oya, Nine Pandas, and Navi were all above them in that group, and that sets off bells. I'm not going to say they're a third place team. I think there's too much inconsistency.
Yeah, actually, you got me regretting that third place
Yeah.
pick. I might
No.
change that. Actually, hold the
Yeah,
press. Go ahead, continue.
I think it's a weird one. I look between Yayo and for third place. I look between Yayo and Ents. It's a weird combination to go with. The biggest question mark in this group, still for me at least, is because they don't have a fifth. Is Big. If they pull out
Yeah.
some player who has had impact experience before, is a known good player, like is somebody that they can rely on, and is not just some raw talent they're bringing in to learn with them, they have a better chance. But if it's going to be as it is right now, Ents, because last season they looked really good in that same group. Sorry, I'm grabbing the wrong one here. Where's that link?
Yeah, they came on strong.
They came on 2-3.
Like
they
at
went
the end.
2-3, and they were in the same group as Nigma.
Yeah, I think they started
NIP,
0-3 and went and won the last two though. Like I think that's the course of it. So they came on stronger towards the end, but
yes, they won towards the end. They were slow starters, but you know what? Their first 3 matches was Big, NIP, Nigma, which were the 3 teams above them, and then they beat the 2 below them in fairly convincing fashion. So I'm gonna stick where I am with that, and I'm gonna say that Aces are gonna be, or not Aces, sorry, Ents are gonna be third place team. That's my pick, and then I'm gonna say close behind them would probably be Yayo.
okay, I'm gonna walk back the VP Angels pick actually.
Okay.
I'm gonna go third with Yayo because I think this team is coming on a lot stronger. Mew's a really good player. Patya's back, like very very good player. And I think we've seen them get stronger. Remember that they were a team that I constantly have said, this is the one to watch. This is the one to watch. And now they're here. I think it's pretty good. I look at Ents. You're right. I look at Ents, and I'm like, I really want to like this team. I love Monk as a player. Missy is amazing. World champion who's coming off the back of AESF. Milo and Waldy, good players, but it's like there's not enough from this side. They've lost Amir as their coach. They've put in Jury now.
Yeah.
And we'll see how they perform. But I think I'm going to put Yayo as number 3. And I am going to put, actually, because Big have not announced their 5th, I'm going to put Ents as number 4. So I put Yayo 3, Ents is number 4. And so your third, you said, is Ents, right?
Yeah. So we're swapped.
Okay. So your 4th is Yayo.
Yeah.
So that leaves 5th, 6th in this group. 5th, I'm going to give to Big Ikipa, actually. Yeah, I think so. Because
6th the VP.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about Big. You look at this team, right?
Yeah.
And it's like D7, Zana, Geniar. Now, particularly D7 and Zana, I'm like, these are actually way too good players to be sticking them bottom of the group. Like, there's a very good chance that they announce a fifth and they finish third. Like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, it's a very good opportunity. But D7 and Zana have so much quality with them. I'm like, they're alone are going to cause problems for teams like NNs, like the Yayo. So I'm going to put Biggie Keep a fifth because of that, and then VP Angels are at the bottom because I like this VP Angels side. I think it's good. Catherine's a good player. Mia is a good player. Ayaka is a pretty solid player as well. But it's like, I mean, I just
Too
haven't seen
inconsistent.
enough from
It's
them
too
actually.
inconsistent across the weeks. It's going to be too inconsistent. And
Yeah, I think so. I
I'm
agree.
hopeful that I eat my words on that. I hope that they come out firing on all cylinders, showing that form that they brought to qualifier number 2. But I mean, yeah, I look at Big right now, and you're right. This Big team is a lot like the early editions of the men's side of Big when they were really just starting to find their footing. Like, Tabson was just starting to take over as the IGL. He was just starting to make his his whole thing felt. But like, honestly, it's one of those things of like they went through. If you're gonna constantly have a rotating door as your fifth player, there's not gonna be a lot of consistency that you can bring with that as a result. So it's one of those things of the two bottom teams are there just because they haven't shown enough, or they have some kind of thing that's potentially going to hold them back. There's too much
Yeah.
of a variance right there,
Yeah,
which is
you
why I
can
say
see
leave
how
them out.
that very issue, by the way, has plagued MIBR and
Yes.
Furia from getting to the next level. Not plagued in like they're not bad teams. They're still top 10 teams in the world, those two in South America. But it's one of those things where it's like they can't get over the B4 hump or over the international lands because they are constantly rotating this
Yeah.
fifth player
Constantly.
for whether it's a choice or not, right?
Yes.
Whether it's from players' or decisions or their decisions. It's just one of those things.
All
Anyway,
right. That's gonna bring us to
let's go to
Group B.
Group B.
Yeah.
Yep.
Starting from the
I'll
bottom
let
then.
you lead off, but I'll let you lead off. Let's start from the bottom.
Yeah.
Lead off with sixth, and we'll build up to the group
I think
winner.
you have a mind delay because I'm saying things like half a second faster than you.
Okay. Okay. I'm old. Okay. You're
I
young.
get it. I get it.
If I could pay to be that age again, I wouldn't do it.
No,
Anyway,
it's a mess.
let's go to sixth, shall we?
Sixth place. Ooh, this group is a weird one, and I'm drawing upon last season to kind of look and go, okay, who are the teams that were struggling here? And the problem is when you get to this group is solid 4 teams on top, and then you got the bottom
Yeah.
kind of section where
You
it
know
kind of
who I think
flattens
is
out.
a toss up between
Yeah.
Shinigami and Guild.
Those were the two I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I think Guild, just because they're missing their fifth. Again, it's another one of those situations we don't know who the fifth is. But even before, like in season 3, at times it
Yeah.
felt like they struggled against opposition. Like they barely won against Angels. It was a close affair.
Yep.
They
Who
they
aren't
were
in their group this year.
they barely lost to Copenhagen Flames. Like they put up a bit of a fight,
Right.
but again, a close map 2 that they won. They barely beat G2 Oya, so they're one of those teams that if they can get the results to go their way, if they can force a third map and really go that kind of a side, then it's fine.
Yeah.
But the majority of the time, it seems like when they go up against opposition that really starts to push them hard on those extra maps that they might not be as prepared on, they seem to struggle. And I think not having your fifth that you've played with for a long time will really
Yeah.
affect them going forward.
Yeah, I agree. And Minnie is a fellow Norwegian, spoke kind of the same language as well. I'm sure they
Yeah.
all do, but the point is, like, it's more natural to her. I think I am going to put them fifth as well because I like Kiki and Pollux on this lineup,
Yeah.
Anna a little bit as well. But it's like it just the quality's just not there, and I hate to say that because it just means like I feel like I'm just talking down to them, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't mean that. I just feel like when you put them up against 9 pandas, do you fancy Guild? No. When you put them up against G2, do you fancy Guild? No. You certainly don't against Navi. It's like, okay, so now you're down in fourth. I look at Letter Cook, which is the old Astralis lineup. I don't fancy them against them. So it's like, now is it fifth or sixth? I look at Shinigami and I say, yeah, there's enough here, I think, for Shinigami to pip them to six. So I'm going Guild six. Shinigami fifth, though. I don't think they get much above that. Shinigami's a good side, but I think honestly they are probably of the 12 teams here in Europe. I would say they're probably 11th, ahead of only VP Angels. So I'm like, I think it's going to be Shinigami fifth for me.
All right. Well, that leaves us with the top four then, and it is a strong top four as well. Kind of looking into this, so you got Letter Cook, you've got Navi Javelins, you got G2 Oya, and you got Nine Pandas Fearless. I'm gonna say my third and fourth teams are going to be Letter Cook and G2 Oya, and it's close. I don't know. I
Okay,
can't exactly say which one's third, which one's fourth. They're interchangeable for me on which could be which.
I'll do it for you then. Letter Cook, I will put as fourth.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put them fourth. I think it's a good team. I really do think it's a good team. Joanna, Kezi, Manishkain have so much experience, but I'm like, Navi, Nine Pandas are on a different level. I've got a shock for you though,
Okay.
and this time it's not going to be one I retract like VP. I have
Yeah.
an actual shock.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm going to say Nine Pandas finish third.
Damn. That's a big one.
And the reason I said it's because G2 Olya has a lot of experience, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. And the players that aren't the historic lineup, Kyosa and Ramson. Ramson's been playing the game for quite a while. She's a good player. Kyosa looks like a real talent coming out of G2, like potentially somebody who could really be a championship winning player. Um, they only had like a week or two to practice before the last Impact season.
Yeah.
Throw that out the window. They have had plenty of time to get back into CS. They've been grinding CS. Nobody's seen these players for months because they're just so dedicated to CS.
Yeah.
So I think I don't favor Nine Pandas versus Navi, and I think G2 are going to come out with a renewed kind of vigor. And I think that's going to mean that Nine Pandas are just going to get pipped out of second place. So I'm going to put Nine Pandas third as a shock.
It is worth mentioning in season 3 that when because these three teams have shared the group together before. Navi Javelins went 2-1 against G2, and Nine Pandas thumped them 2-0. It was the first map was not close between these two teams. It was a
Right.
16-2 for Nine Pandas on Ancient, and then a 16-14 on Vertigo. So we know we don't exactly know what we're getting with G2 because they have had a bit of a lineup change, but the success of Navi and Nine Pandas has been consistent across the seasons, across lands even.
Okay.
So I have to stick with my
Okay.
top two being Navi and then Nine Pandas Fearless. Or sorry, it would be
Okay.
Nine Pandas Fearless and then Navi is my number one and number
You,
two.
you're going Nine Pandas as your number one.
Yeah, I'm going Nine
I'm
Pandas as number one.
going G2 Olya as my number
Wait,
two.
sorry, I got that wrong. I got them reversed. I forgot which team finished in the finals at
Yeah, so you're going Navi number
Navi
one,
Nine
Nine
Pandas.
Pandas number two.
Yes.
Okay.
My bad.
So Nine Pandas going to break who Group A second place Hearts again. I'm going number two G2 Oya.
Yeah.
And I want to say Olia like the player, but it's
Yeah, I know,
Oya.
right? I keep
Yeah,
saying, keep thinking it's Olia. No, it's not Olia.
so but I'm going them number two, and then I'm going Navi to win the group. Navi's so good. They're so good.
So
Mentally, they need another level because I think they kind of lost themselves in that grand final,
yeah,
right?
they did.
Stage somewhere, right? But I think they are good enough to run this group. So that's why I'm going playoff. Then
Yeah,
your playoff is Nine Pandas versus NIP.
NIP. And I think I would go with NIP on that one. I
Okay.
think I'm going to stick with NIP on that one. And the reason I'm sticking with them is because of how close they play Nigma. Nigma versus Nine Pandas. Like, we put it this way, FlyQuest, and part of that I'm going to say is because of the home crowd and everything like that. But FlyQuest brought it to Nine Pandas in that semifinal. Or sorry, in
Remember,
the
they
group
were
stage.
without
In the group
their coach
stage.
as well, by
And
the
they were
way.
without their coach. A very important point. I will say though, like at the end of the day, I think that Nine Pandas are not the stronger team of those two, especially if NIP is bringing it to Nigma, if they're bringing it to their group and they are securing second place. I think that's one of those things where just you look at it and you go, well, if it walks like a duck and it talks like and it quacks like a duck, like it's a duck. It's gonna get that third place. So that's where I'm
Okay.
at. Yours,
Actually,
however,
and in your series, I'd actually favor Nine Pandas. I think they're just a
no.
sewed up good team.
I think they're a good team as well. I just think that there's something that Nip is going to bring as an X factor that because they haven't been there yet, there's not going to be as much pressure. There's not going to be as much of a there's going to be a lot more drive in terms of
Okay.
we're going to qualify because like we've been near this before. We didn't get there the first time. We're going to get there this time.
So then my
qualify it.
series, yes, is NIP versus G2 Oya.
Yes.
And I really want to say NIP so much. You have no
I
idea
think I think
how much I
G2. Oh yeah.
love this team. I
I think
love
G2. Oh yeah.
NIP, but they just can't seem to do it on the big game.
Yeah.
I mean, they were 4-0 last season, Parks, and they needed to beat Big, and they fumbled the series to Big and didn't make the land because they fumbled one series to
Yeah.
Big. And I think this is going to be the case here. I think they're going to make to the playoffs, and they need to win this series, and they're going to fumble it away. And I think G2 is going to make the land. I think Giuliano and Zaz and Krasala are Cressy are gonna make the land for the first time since coming back
Which
to
would be huge.
CS.
Which would be
So,
huge.
which would be a great story. But I think we're going to see it. I honestly think we're going to see it. So that's Europe for both of us, done and dusted.
Yeah.
Little 20-minute nice sound
Fast.
bite
We're
there for
fast,
you.
eh? We're fast.
I know.
Fastest
Yeah.
episode in the West.
But yeah, look, we still got South America and North America coming up as well. So look forward to that. Thank you so much for watching. In the meantime, we look forward to being completely wrong, by the way,
Oh,
with these
100%.
predictions. And
Keep
we
up
look
with
forward
us
to the
on
start
that.
of the Impact season later this week. Thanks for watching. Take care.